Hey there, and welcome to my channel. I'm Crafty Kathy, and today I have some gorgeous vintage Valentines for you guys. Enjoy! The first one is going to be a happy heart wreath. I got this wreath form from the Hobby Lobby, and for the life of me, I cannot find the ones at Dollar Tree. I've been to about 6 different Dollar Trees and cannot find them. I would prefer the one from Dollar Tree because it would make a bigger and fuller heart. So if you can find those wreath forms and you want to make this wreath, by all means, try to get the one from Dollar Tree. I took some poster board from the Dollar Tree and a pencil, and I'm just tracing out around that first ring there of my little heart wreath, and then I'm going to use my little X-Acto knife to cut it out. Well, actually, I started off with that X-Acto knife, but then I used this rotary tool because I really like it. I find that it's very easy to cut, and it makes a cleaner cut to me than the X-Acto knife does. I had some edges that were kind of funky looking. So what I did was just take my little hand sander, that little zipper sander that they call it, and I have a grit on there that's like a 220. It's not a very strong grit at all. And I'm just going to kind of smooth it out and make it nice and pretty, and it fits perfectly right on the top of that heart. And you do want it on the top of the heart if you're going to make this heart wreath, not underneath, but on the top. The next thing you're going to do is get some material of your choice, and I chose this beautiful like lacy type material that I got from the thrift store. And I outlined, just eyeballed it by the way, but I outlined about an inch over where the heart was, and it doesn't have to be perfect because all we're going to do is cut that out. And I cut it out with my scissors and my little rotary clipper. And we're going to glue that on the back side of the heart. That's the reason why I wanted it to have about an inch of an overhang, because you just kind of fold it over the back part. And if you need to cut it, you know, by all means, especially like where the heart comes together there in the middle, you can cut it because you're never going to see that. And that's a secret too, that if you have something that's kind of rounded like the top of the heart is there, you can go and make small slits and it will make it easier to fold down, just like a present. And make sure to wear your finger protectors and protect those little sweet fingers when you're doing this, because guys, I burned myself 1 or 2 times before I finally said, okay, let me find them. And I pulled them out, and it made it so much easier. Now, I have a piece of white muslin, and it rips really easily, and that's why I picked it. And I cut it in probably about 2 inches wide, and I just wrapped it all the way around this wreath form. The reason why you see it's already wrapped some is because at first I thought I was just going to have to wrap those first 2 little rings, but I realized that I needed to wrap that whole heart. So save yourself the time and don't do what I do, but just, you know, wrap it. You can use a ribbon that you have, or you can use some cotton. You can even use drop cloth, whatever you want to wrap it with, but just wrap that whole heart and it will save you a little bit of time. After you've wrapped all of it, you just put a little bit of glue to hold it down together. Then we're going to take our heart that we covered, and we are just going to put a little bead of glue all the way around the innermost part of that heart, and we're just going to lay that down and glue it down. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If there's a little spot that's showing like I have there on the upper right side, that's perfectly fine. We're going to cover that. Now, I have this beautiful ruffle, and I got this at Hobby Lobby. I was actually looking for a ruffled ribbon, which they didn't have. I had to buy this by the yard, and it cost me like $4.99 a yard, and I had to buy 1.5 yards of it. So by all means, if you can find this in a ribbon roll, it would be so much better. But all it is just a ruffled ribbon. And I just went on the very outermost part beside where I wound that muslin around my heart, And that's why we needed it wrapped, is so this would have something to stick to. And then you just go around and place that on the outermost part of the heart. I realized it wasn't going to come together perfectly at the bottom, so I cut it off and just kind of held it up and looked at it, and I could go a little bit shorter. So what I did was just kind of go about halfway there where the little heart came together at the end, and that way I could kind of glue the two sides together, and it looks like it's one continuous ruffle all the way around my little ruffled heart. I found this beautiful ruffled lacy piece at Hobby Lobby also, and it was just $1.99 a yard, and I got 1.5 yards of it, so I didn't have to pay much for it at all, and I think it's beautiful. It's just not as wide as that black and white, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Right there where I glued the other one together, I'm basically going to go kind of right over top where I glued that one down, or just slightly inside, and I'm going to glue this beautiful ruffled piece down, and that way we're going to have two ruffled pieces going on the outside of the heart. I cut it off at the very bottom, but I did not glue these two pieces together because something's going to go down there to cover that up anyways, so it does not have to be perfect, and don't fret and worry that it has to be, because this is a very easy wreath to do. The next piece is another beautiful ruffle, and I did get this one in a spool. And just to be clear, the other two were in the area where all the fabrics and stuff were, but they didn't come on like a little spool. They came in, they were on an end cap, and you just had to find them. They had red and white and black and white, but I like black and white and red together because I think it's really pretty, so I wanted my heart to be black and white. So I'm doing the same thing with this ruffle. The only place that you can put the glue is in the very center of it because both sides are ruffled. Now you'll see where I'm putting my glue at here. It's basically right in front of that last little ruffle where I went around. And then I'm just going to cut it off down at the bottom. And I'm basically going to do the exact same thing again and come in just a little bit and do this same black ruffle once again all the way around. I still had just a small little gap after I added that first little black ruffle there. That's why I added a second layer here. You see there's just a little bitty bit left there in between it and where that little heart that we added on in the center there begins. And so I wanted it to come all the way to that heart, because that way we're covering up any edges that we have that may be exposed. And now our heart is totally full. Next, I'm going to take this beautiful Valentine bag that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It was only $1.15, and I'm just going to cut it down. I want that front piece, and all I want is the little heart. So what I did was went directly around that heart, and I have another piece that I can use for later. So I actually got two little pictures out of this for just $1.15. But I went as close to the heart as I possibly could. And I used my little pinking shears because for some reason I just think they look so pretty using them for anything with Valentine's Day, because they put that perfect little crinkled edge on everything, and I think it's really sweet. But before I put my little picture on, I wanted to add some more ribbon. I got this beautiful heart ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I absolutely love it. If you see some of this, snag a couple of rolls of it because it goes really fast, trust me. I absolutely love it and think it's beautiful. And what I did is I started off around my first little heart and realized that I was putting it on totally backwards. So then what I did was go back the correct way, and I am just placing this down in that, putting the glue down in the very center of that little black ruffle, because you don't want to put it on your little ruffly parts. And when I went around, I used the very smallest little dabs of glue so it wouldn't come out from around my hearts. I had enough of my little heart ribbon left, so I did the exact same thing on the inner portion of this heart because I thought that it just looked good, and that little touch of red was exactly what it needed to bring that picture out and for everything to come together, the black and the red and the white. And there is a little bit of a gap up there at the top between where my top little red strand of hearts is and the bottom one. If you'll notice, there's a small gap, but it doesn't matter because we're going to cover that up with a bow. The bag was pretty thin, so I just used a glue stick all over the back of it, and that's what I used to put it in the center of my heart. I used the leftover ruffle that I had, that pretty white ruffle, and I made like a cause bow. The way that you do that is you make your ribbon actually look like one of those cause ribbons like they have for like cancer awareness. Then you kind of just squish it together in the middle and you tie that. And this thing came out so cute. It looked like it had a little collar on or something because the way that this ruffle was. But anywho, it came out really cute. And I'm going to place this right over the top of my little girl and guy. Does this not remind you, though, of a little vintage-looking heart, something that I would have had from back in the 70s and 80s and on Valentine's Day? That's totally what it reminds me of. It's the colors and then the little guy and the girl, the whole facade of it does. Even these roses. These are those little clip-on roses they have at the Dollar Tree. I absolutely love these, by the way. If you see them, grab them. They're a pretty good deal. I cut the backs of them off so that they would lay flat. And I'm just going to place one down at the very bottom of the heart. That's where it covered up a little flaw we had down there. And then I'm going to place it right in the center of my little collared bow. Then I just flipped it over and I'm going to put a really quick little hanger on there. And I'm going to use 2 little pieces of fabric so that it will stay down really well. And I hope you like this first one. For DIY number 2, I have some little vintage-inspired ornaments and a magnet for the fridge. I was in Hobby Lobby the other day, surprise, surprise, and I came across 90% off on their clearance, and I found these bulbs, or these ornaments that I got at Christmas. I paid 79 cents and 69 cents, and I was so happy, guys. I love to make ornaments for all the time of the year. They don't just have to hang on a tree. And I took my paper, and you remember how I taught you in a few videos back how that you can just Google any image that you're looking for, and I put in vintage Valentine. Now, most of these were on graphicsfairy.com, and I just pulled them up, and then I saved it to my phone, and I simply printed it out on cardstock. Now, the ones that I'm going to use, I went as close to the image as I could, and I cut it out with my little zigzag scissors, and I think that's just adorable. I have so many vintage Valentine images. I mean, my phone is covered up. So, guys, you don't have to pay for these images on Etsy. By all means, if there's a special one that you want, do that, but you don't have to. I just added my liquid patina, or you can use Mod Podge, to the front of my picture and to the very back of the ornament, and you place it down because you're going to be looking through the ornament at the picture. And then we're just going to set it aside and let it dry. Now, you do have to use a little bit more of your liquid patina on your picture and on your the back of your little ornament, because you want to make sure it sticks. And remember, cardstock is thicker than the normal stuff that I decoupage with. If it was rice paper or a napkin, you would use a very, very thin layer. But since it's cardstock, you need to go just a little bit thicker, but be careful so it doesn't wrinkle. Just take your time. Just start from the center and just use those fingers to get any wrinkles out. But the biggest thing when you're dealing with something thick like cardstock is take your time. You don't want to get it sopping wet to where it's going to cause wrinkles, because that moisture is where the wrinkles come from. Now, when these totally dried, I went back over it with the liquid patina again, and that's going to seal it in. And of course, while I had the liquid patina in, I used that extra fine diamond glitter that I absolutely love. I get it from Walmart. It's a brand called Solin, and it's extra fine diamond glitter. They also have this on Amazon, and I will link it in my Amazon store in case you want some. I love it, and I use it all the time on my stuff. Now, I have these little blocks. I got them from a thrift store a couple of years ago, and they're literally just little wooden blocks of all shapes and sizes, and I just gave them about 2 coats of the Waverly white color. Now, the ornament that has Snoopy on it, I put him on the front of the ornament, so I'm going to paint the back of the ornament white. That way, it really pops, and you can see that picture of Snoopy really well through that ornament. I gave it 2 coats. I also took the other ones, and I'm going to paint them white over the back of that cardstock also. When you put 1 or 2 layers of that white paint on the back, it causes it to become more opaque, and that picture, for some reason, just pops a little bit more inside these ornaments. The reason why I put Snoopy on the front of that one ornament is because I want to turn him into a magnet and be able to stick flowers in it. You have to think outside the box, and these ornaments are not only to be used, for ornaments. You can stick little flowers in them and put these magnets. These magnets are from the Dollar Tree. I just glued 3 on the back, and that way it'll stick to my fridge. And then I put a couple of little flowers in there. Not too much. We don't want to go tacky. I also put some different embellishments around these ornaments, and for some reason, I lost the footage. I think it's because I swapped phones. I recorded it on one phone, but I moved everything over, you know what I mean, from that phone to this new one, but for some reason, that piece didn't come through. But I know for a fact that I recorded it, so I'm not really sure what happened. I put that beautiful, like, lacy type ribbon around this one. And all I'm doing here is taking some of that little foil. I really don't know what this stuff is called. It's like that party stuff, and it's the curling ribbon. That's what it's called, because you can use your fingers or some scissors and just run it along it, and it curls. It's curling ribbon. Duh, Kathy. And so I'm just going to tie that to the top. I used red and white baker's twine that I got for like 30 cents at Walmart clearance. It was Christmas clearance. I'm going to use that for the top as a hanger. And I am so sorry that I've lost that footage. But all I did was just put like the smaller ribbons from Dollar Tree. That red and white ribbon went around one. I put a piece of like a pipe cleaner around the Snoopy. And then as you see, this one has that black, beautiful little ruffle that I got from Hobby Lobby. But I do love this curling ribbon so much because I think it adds a lot to your projects. Maybe it's just me, but I really think it does. And so I'm just going to take a couple of little pieces of this. I'm going to curl it, and I'm going to stick it up in that top piece. And it's going to just go around the ornament and just give it a little extra pizzazz. And I also painted the tops of these little ornaments red so they wouldn't look Christmassy. You know what I mean? So that they would look like something beautiful. Now, I also took 2 of those little trees from the Dollar Tree, and they're the white Christmas trees. I cannot, for the life of me, find those little pink Valentine ones. So I just took 2 of the white ones, and I got me some spray paint. I spray painted one like a blush pink color, and the other one I spray painted it colonial red. And so now I have a red tree, and I have a beautiful pink tree that I DIY'd myself. So I can hang these little ornaments on it if I wish, or you can just hang them up or give them as a gift. You can put candy in them. I mean, there's so many things you can do with these. And I found these ornaments were so cute when you take a couple of those little foam roses that comes from the Dollar Tree and stick those in there. And they're like little confetti in there. It's so cute. Whoops, pop the top off of that one. But I just stuck foam roses down in one. I stuck glitter down in all of them. And in one, I even stuck some little red and white checkered beads that I got from Amazon. I just put all kinds of mess down in them because I think it makes it so cute and sweet. I hope you like these. I had so much fun making them. I'll probably make some for Easter since I got them so cheap and I got several boxes.
Yesterday I lost the battle, trying at a cost, oh, to keep you, baby. Oh, to keep you, baby. Do-do-do. Now I hurt so bad. All I feel is sad that I lost you, baby. Oh, I lost you, baby. I said goodbye with tears inside, calling out your name as you shut the door behind you. And now I wonder, why won't you come back? Love me, hold me, need me, like the way you used to do, when it was just me and you. Don't go, I need you, I'll never mislead you.
The next one is some shelf sitters. I've got a couple of wood blocks that I got at a thrift store years ago. They're all different shapes and sizes, and I'm just going to give them 2 coats of the Waverly white chalk paint.
Tomorrow is another day. Sit around and waste away without you, baby. Oh, without you, baby.
I'm going to take a couple of my little vintage inspired pictures that I printed on the cardstock, and I'm just going to put down my liquid patina, and I'm also going to put it on the back of the cardstock, and I'm going to place them down the center of them first and then use my fingers to get out any wrinkles. But surprisingly, they didn't wrinkle. I set them to the side and let them totally dry, and then I went over the front of them with the liquid patina once they were totally dry to seal them in. And then I went over any parts that were red, like on this one, it's the umbrella. I only colored in that umbrella with the liquid patina, and I'm using my red glitter to go on top of it. But you don't have to use red if you want to do pink or any color that you want to accentuate. Or even if you want to do the whole thing, heck, do the whole thing. But I colored in this umbrella for mine and did it red. And then the little girl is holding a heart in her hands. And I colored that part in red. I also tried this glue that has glitter in it from the Dollar Tree. It doesn't have very much glitter in it, so I had to use both. But with the little girl, like I was saying, I colored her little heart in that she's holding in her hands red. And then I covered the whole thing once again with that extra fine diamond glitter because I wanted the whole thing to have like a sparkle to it. Now, of course, if you don't like glitter, you can totally omit this step. But I really do love glitter at Valentine's Day, so I just glitzed it up, honey. I put it all over both of these things, and I covered it up good. But I really think, like on that little umbrella, it really made it pop and made it so precious. And then the little heart in her hands is so cute. Then I just embellished these. I took some of the little heart ribbon that I get from Dollar Tree and went all the way around both of them and just made like little twine ribbons and bows. And just one I made a little checkered bow from the Dollar Tree ribbon. But people absolutely love these. These will sell like crazy in my booth. I find that this is all it takes, just a little pop of Valentine's Day here and there to make your decor sweet and fun.
About what's happened to me from July up till now. Don't know where, don't know how. Lately I've come to realize that but I can't see it in your eyes, so it's true. I'm so glad you feel it too. Nothing to hide.
The last one is a simple beaded garland. I had a company reach out to me and they sent me some of this koala sticker paper. They wanted me to give it a try and see what I thought about it. It was so easy. All I had to do was hit the print button on the picture that I wanted and of course stick my paper in there, and it just simply printed out, and then all you have to do is just peel it and boom, you have your sticker. So super easy. So I thought, let's try this on one of the projects and let's see what we can come up with. I want to show you some of the stickers that I printed off. For some reason in my booth, stickers sell very well. You can sell stickers for like $2 a piece. It's maybe because they're so cheap, I'm not sure. But I've heard other people say they sell a lot of them too. So what I did was take one of these little heart wood pieces that came from the Dollar Tree, and I just took some of that white thread that comes from the Dollar Tree also. I'm going to take these beads. They're red and white buffalo check beads that I got from Amazon, and they are in my Amazon store if you want some. I'm just going to place about 20 to 30 on my little piece of thread here. I'm going to paint my heart with 2 coats of that Waverly white chalk paint, and then we're going to make a beautiful beaded garland. What I do is just leave a little bit on the end of one of my sides there, and I tied it to my heart, and so my heart is tied on there. My heart's on a string. And now we're going to make a little tassel. The way that I make my tassel is to spread my fingers out as far as I can, or you can use like a piece of paper or like a piece of cardboard, I'm sorry, and just wrap it around that. But I find it very easy to do it around about 4 fingers. And then you just wound it around probably about 30 to 40 times, and then you're going to tie it off. At this point, in the middle, I cut my little thread in half, and that way there's my little tassel hanging there. And what I'm going to do next is just wrap a little bit of this thread around the very upper part of it, because that's what's going to create that little area at the top of the tassel that everyone sees. And what I do is just put a little bit of glue and glue it off, because you don't have much wear and tear there. So a little bit of glue is plenty enough to suffice to hold it. And I purposely leave that string at the very top of the tassel. I'm just going to tie that onto the other end of my garland, and I'm just going to cut off the excess, and voila, we have our little beaded garland. It's actually that simple. I took a little bit of that black ribbon that I got at Hobby Lobby, the kind that was kind of ruffly and lacy like, and I just glued that around that little top part of my tassel because I thought that would really be pretty and it would tie the black and the red together. Now I had chosen which sticker that I wanted to go on my little garland here, and as you see, all you do is peel it away from the backing and you just stick it down. I took some of my Waverly Antique Wax and I watered it down heavily, and I went all over my little heart with it, and before it had a chance to dry, I used my baby wipe to wipe off the excess because I didn't want this to be stark white. I wanted it to look old and vintagey. I took a piece of red tinsel that I got off of a Christmas tree or something, I'm not really sure, and I wrapped it all around the center of my little heart here because I thought it gave it a beautiful little added touch. Then I took one of those little clip-on roses from the Dollar Tree and I clipped the back of it off so it would be flat. I glued it down and I put liquid patina all over the front of this and my beautiful diamond glitter. Let me know what you think.
You were the top that eclipsed the room. I was the one who arrived too soon. But no one would ever bet against us if they saw us exchanging glances. I was too busy to fall in love. You were too busy to break my heart. Nobody else was there to stop us. Nobody else was there to warn us. Now we go on and on with this.
Hey, if you stuck with me through today's video, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate every single one of y'all, and I love you from the bottom of my heart, guys. I don't tell y'all enough how much I appreciate you, but I really do, and I'm so thankful. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and hit that little like button. It really helps me out on YouTube. Now, don't forget that my videos are every Monday and Thursday at 7 o'clock, unless there's something going on like this past week where I was deathly ill. I'll see you guys soon, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.